It didn't happen all at once. No sudden crack across the sky. Just little shifts I couldn't name, passing quietly by. The way your voice became familiar, without the warmth it used to bring. The way our nights grew heavier, without changing anything. Some things don't disappear, they become something else. I felt it change in shape, right there between our hands. The love we used to recognize became something we couldn't understand. I felt it change in shape every time we looked away, trying to hold yesterday while it slipped into today. The laughter sounded softer, the silence stayed too long. Conversations lost their rhythm, like forgetting an old song. I searched for little pieces of who we used to be, inside familiar places that no longer felt like me. The hardest part of fading is knowing it while it happens. I felt it changing shape, right there between our hands. The love we used to recognize became something we couldn't understand. I felt it changing shape every time we looked away, trying to hold yesterday while it slipped into today. You never said forever, but I heard it anyway. Inside the quiet spaces between the words you'd say. One late night conversation, one smile across the room. I turn a single moment into something I assumed. Every pause became a promise, every glance became a sign. I connected all the pieces until they formed a life in mine. You never wrote the story, the pages all stayed white. I was the one who gave the meaning every single night. It's amazing what the heart can do when it's scared to lose. It paints the missing colors until it believes they're true. I filled in the blanks with everything I hoped you'd be. Every empty little space became a future I could see. You gave me only fragments, I turned them into us. Now I know love can't survive on wishes and on trust alone. I filled in the blanks with dreams you never knew. I built a home inside my heart that never belonged to you. Looking back, I understand what I couldn't then. I wasn't loving what was real, I was filling in the blanks. Whenever you pulled farther back, I'd write another reason why. Maybe work was keeping you busy, maybe you were just tired. I always found an answer that let my hope remain, even when the silence repeated itself again. You never asked me to wait, I simply chose to stay, believing one more sunrise would finally change the day. But time can't build a bridge when only one side tries. Some truths become invisible behind hopeful eyes. The hardest lies to notice are the ones we tell ourselves, to protect the love we're losing from becoming something else. I filled in the blanks with everything I hoped you would be. Every empty little space became a future I could see. You gave me only fragments, I turned them into us. Now I know love can't survive on wishes and on trust alone. I filled in the blanks with dreams you never knew. I built a home inside my heart that never belonged to you. Looking back, I understand what I couldn't then. I wasn't loving what was real, I was filling in the blanks. Maybe hope is beautiful until it hides the truth. Maybe love grows strongest when it's rooted in what's true. I don't regret believing it came from a faithful heart, but faith can't finish stories when they never truly start. Now I'll leave the empty pages exactly as they are. No more writing happy endings for someone standing far. The next love that finds me won't need imagined parts. It'll speak in actions before it speaks to hearts. I filled in the blanks because I couldn't face goodbye. I held on to possibilities instead of asking why. Now every missing answer feels honest somehow. The silence finally says enough. I don't need more now. I filled in the blanks, but I won't anymore. Real love leaves no empty pages to wonder what they're for. I wait for someone willing to write the story too, instead of making me imagine the love they never knew. Some stories stay unfinished, not because they couldn't be, but because one heart stopped writing long before the other could see. Now I close the book with peace, no longer chasing what I lacked. The ending found me gently when I stopped filling in the blanks. I ignored that part that never settled when we talked. A hesitation in your smile, like your heart was somewhere lost. I noticed every little sign before I learned to look away, because the truth was hard enough to ruin what I hoped we'd be someday. You always left a little space between your hand and mine. I called it being careful, I called it needing time. Every question found a reason, every silence found an excuse. I'd protected what we we had by ignoring every truth. Hope can be so beautiful, it makes the truth look small. Sometimes love keeps whispering, even when it's not there at all. I ignored that part, the distance in your soul. I saw the cracks between us, but called them something whole. I looked away from everything that should have made me leave. I ignored that part because I wanted to believe. I ignored that part, the nights you pulled away, the words you never answered, the love that never stayed. I chose the dream instead of truth, until it fell apart. The hardest thing to face was this: I ignored that part. Friends would ask if I was happy, I'd smile before I'd think. I kept defending all the things that slowly made us sink. Every canceled plan became a story I could justify. I learned how to protect your absence with another hopeful lie. You weren't cruel or angry, you simply weren't all in. But I kept mistaking almost for where forever could begin. I carried every conversation long after they were done, trying to keep alive a fire that had barely ever begun. Sometimes losing someone starts long before goodbye. The ending lives inside the things we choose to pass on by. I ignored that part, the distance in your soul. I saw the cracks between us, but called them something whole. I looked away from everything that should have made me leave. I ignored that part because I wanted to believe. I ignored that part, the nights you pulled away, the words you never answered, the love that never stayed. I chose the dream instead of truth, until it fell apart. The hardest thing to face was this: I ignored that part. Maybe love isn't blindness, maybe it's the fear of seeing, holding on to possibilities instead of what they're really being. I don't blame the heart I had, it only wanted something real. But wanting isn't enough to change the way things feel. Now I welcome someone half of heart. Today I choose myself instead of ignoring that part. Some lessons come too late, some still arrive on time. Mine was learning hope alone, can't rewrite the signs. Now I leave the past behind without falling back into the dark, because healing finally started when I stopped ignoring that part. I knew before we said the words, before the silence settled in, before the empty space between us began to slowly win. I felt it in the little changes, the way your eyes looked past mine, how every conversation ended a little sooner every time. Sometimes your heart arrives before your mind can admit it. I knew where it was going long before we reached the end. I watched forever slowly turn into something we couldn't defend. I knew where it was going, every step we didn't take, every promise left untouched, every silence left to ache. And still I stayed beside you, hoping I would never be right. I knew where it was going, but I kept holding tight. I remember trying harder after every quiet change, as if love could be rescued by carrying more of the weight. You smiled just enough to reassure me, but not enough to stay. And I kept living in the hope you'd come back someday. I memorized the little distances, growing day by day, the slower hugs, the shorter calls, the things you never say. Every small goodbye arrived before the final one, and by the time it found us, it had already won. The hardest truth isn't the ending, it's recognizing it too soon. I knew where it was going long before we reached the end. I watched forever slowly turn into something we couldn't defend. I knew where it was going, every step we didn't take, every promise left untouched, every silence left to ache. And still I stayed beside you, hoping I would never be right. I knew where it was going, but I kept holding tight. But I kept holding tight. I saw the warning in your silence long before the distance grew. I noticed all the little changes before they turned into the truth. I knew we weren't the same as before. I felt it every day, like colors slowly leaving, a photograph left in the rain. Sometimes knowing isn't enough to change what we're afraid to face. I let it fade anyway, even though I saw the signs. Watch forever lose its shape, one quiet day at a time. I let it fade anyway, holding on instead of speaking, waiting for a different ending. It kept on disappearing, and now I carry every moment I was too afraid to save. I let it fade anyway, though I knew what we became. I could have asked the harder questions instead of swallowing the fear. I could have told you what I noticed before we vanished year by year. Instead I chose familiar silence, because silence felt less cruel than risking one honest conversation that might undo the truth. Maybe I was scared of hearing the answer in your voice. Maybe I thought delaying pain was somehow still a choice. But time doesn't stop moving just because we look away, and love keeps fading softly even when we pray. The hardest regrets are the ones we watched happen. I let it fade anyway, even though I saw the signs. Watch forever lose its shape, one quiet day at a time. I let it fade anyway, holding on instead of speaking, waiting for a different ending that kept on disappearing. And now I carry every moment I was too afraid to save. I let it fade anyway, though I knew what we became. I remember how it used to feel, like every morning held your light. Even ordinary moments carried something warm inside. Your laugh could fill an empty room, your touch could calm my restless mind. Back then everything between us felt effortless with time, but seasons never asked permission before they start to change. And somewhere underneath our smiles, the colors slipped away. Not all at once, not overnight, just softer every day, until I noticed we were living inside a fading frame. I saw it losing color long before we called it gone. I saw it losing color, slowly fading into gray. The brightest parts between our hearts were quietly washed love we painted become a shade I never knew. We still sat across each other, still spoke the same familiar names, but conversations felt like echoes of what they used to say. Your eyes look through me sometimes like I was somewhere far away, and silence stayed between us longer with every passing day. I tried remembering the version where everything felt alive, as if enough remembering could somehow help it survive. But memories can't restore a feeling that's already growing thin, no matter how tightly you hold it. When it's fading from within, the hardest endings happen while everything still looks the same. Watch the love we painted become a shade I never knew. I used to paint the missing parts with colors that were never there. Every silence felt like hope, every maybe felt like care. I believed the little things would someday turn into enough. I held on through every storm, calling every struggle love. You never had to say goodbye, your distance spoke before your words. I just kept translating emptiness into everything I wanted heard. Now the picture's coming through without the blur I used to know. Truth has found its way to me in places I refuse to go. What I called forever was only borrowed time. I finally stopped defending what never felt like mine. I see it clearly now. You were never reaching back. I kept walking towards your light while you faded into black. Every promise I believed was hanging by a thread somehow. It hurts less than it used to, 'cause I see it clearly now. I see it clearly now. Love can't live on hope alone. You can share the same four walls and still feel on your own. Every answer's in the silence. I don't need to ask you how. The truth is finally louder. I see it clearly now. There were signs in every season I was scared enough to miss. I confused familiar pain for something I should never risk. You were always halfway in, never standing where I stood. I kept saying we'd be fine even when I knew we wouldn't. I don't hate the memories, they taught me how to let things end. Not every hand you choose to hold is meant to hold yours in the end. Some people only pass through life to show what love is not about. Now I carry that lesson forward without a trace of doubt. The masters the freedom by another name. I see it clearly now, the weight is finally gone. I don't need your empty answers to help me carry on. Every piece I gave away has somehow found me now. I'm stronger than I ever knew. I see it clearly now. I see it clearly now. The future doesn't feel so far. Someone else will love me fully, exactly as I am. Until that day arrives, I'll wear these lessons proud. The pain became my vision. I see it clearly now. Some truths arrive in whispers, some arrive in tears. Mine was waiting patiently through all those wasted years. Now I walk into tomorrow without asking why or how. I finally found the answer. I see it clearly now. From the first uncertain morning, I believed in what we could become. I never counted what I offered or kept score of what was done. I remembered every birthday, every story, every dream, trying to become the person you could always lean on when you needed me. I never loved with hesitation, never held my heart in reserve. I thought giving all I had was simply what love deserved. Every choice I made somehow had your name inside the plan. While you lived one day at a time, I reached for where we could finally stand. I never feared commitment or everything it meant. I was building something lasting with every moment spent. I stayed fully invested even when the balance wasn't fair. I poured my faith into tomorrow while your heart stayed somewhere else out there. I believed enough for both of us until belief alone grew thin. I never stopped choosing us, even when you stopped choosing me. I stayed fully invested every season, every change, holding on to something steady while everything became uncertain. Now I know devotion needs another heart the same. Love can't keep its fire alive if only one protects the flame. I learned your fears without complaint and carried them beside my own. I celebrated every victory as though it were my own to hold. When the world became too heavy, I'd reach before you had to ask. You became my highest priority without expecting anything back. But somewhere in the quiet years, the difference slowly came to light. I was making room for both our dreams. You were only passing through the nights. I mistook my constant effort for something that could close the space, never realizing commitment can't be carried by one person alone. A promise isn't built by sacrifice alone. Two hearts have to meet before future can be grown. I stayed fully invested, even when the balance wasn't fair. I poured my faith into tomorrow, while your heart stayed somewhere else out there. I believed enough for both of us, until belief alone grew thin. I never stopped choosing us, even when you stopped choosing me. I stayed fully invested, every season, every change, holding on to something steady, while everything became uncertain. Now I know devotion needs another heart the same. Love can't keep its fire alive if only one protects the flame. I don't regret the love I gave or the nights I stayed awake. A heart that loves sincerely should never feel like a mistake. The only thing I change is forgetting my own worth, trying to save a future that was never being built first. Next time I'll still love deeply, but I'll also watch what's true. Love should move in both directions, not just everything I do. The strongest kind of promise isn't spoken in a vow, it's shown by two people choosing each other every day somehow. I stayed fully invested, and that's something I won't hide. I'd rather love with everything than spend my life half alive. But now I'll give that loyalty to someone standing near, someone who returns my faith instead of feeding on my hope and fear. I stayed fully invested, now I'm finally setting free. The future I imagined that was never meant for me. I'll carry all the love I have without the weight of yesterday, because the heart that gives completely still deserves the same. One day I didn't lose by loving deeply, I only learned what love requires. It isn't measured by persistence or surviving every fire. It's found where two hearts meet, without one pulling all the weight. And when that love arrives, I'll be ready to invest again. You called me late on lonely nights, just to ask me how I'd been. One small conversation and I'd let you back again. You'd smile like nothing happened, like the distance wasn't real. I gathered every little moment into something I could feel. A picture on a Sunday, a message out of the blue. You probably thought it was nothing, but it meant the world to me and you. Well, maybe only me. I can finally admit it now. I was building forever from moments somehow. You handed me a handful, I turned it into the sky. I filled in every missing piece without asking why. I took it as everything, every word, every glance, every sign. You gave me inches of your heart, I believe they all were mine. You never made the promises that I swore I heard somehow. I took it as everything, but I see the difference now. I made a home from echoes, a future from one embrace. I found forever in your silence and comfort in empty space. Somehow I took it as everything, but I understand it now. You never stopped me dreaming, you simply let me dream alone. I mistook your open door for somewhere I belonged. Every maybe sounded certain, every someday felt so near. I kept holding on to hope while you were never really here. There were empty chairs beside me at dinners we had planned. Excuses came so easily, I'd still reach for your hand. Looking back, I see myself trying not to recognize the truth was waiting patiently behind your distant eye. Love doesn't disappear, slowly shows its shape. Sometimes what breaks your heart is what you chose to make. I took it as everything, every word, every glance, every sign. You gave me inches of your heart, I believe they all were mine. You never made the promises that I swore I heard. Somehow I took it as everything, but I see the difference now. I made a home from echoes, a future from one embrace. I found forever in your silence and comfort in empty space. You gave me only fragments, I called them love. Somehow I took it as everything, but I understand it now. Maybe you never knew how much those little moments grew inside a heart already waiting for someone to love it too. You offered what was easy, I accepted it as whole, until I realized half a light can't warm a soul. Now I know real love doesn't leave you guessing every day. It doesn't make you question if it's slowly slipping away. It stands beside you fully without fear or doubt. Somehow that's the kind of love I'm choosing now. I took it as everything when it was only passing through. I gave you all my seasons, you gave me drops of blue, but I won't carry empty hope or wonder where. Somehow I took it as everything, I don't have to anymore now. I wait for something honest that never hides behind the rain. Someone who shows up completely again and again and again. No more reading meaning into words that disappear. Somehow I took it as everything, now I finally know how. You were still beside me, but something had already gone. Your body stayed for all the days your heart had moved along. You smiled when people watched us, you laughed at all the right lines, but every private conversation felt thinner over time. I kept searching for the reason, thinking maybe I was wrong, until I realized I'd been missing someone who was still at home. You never packed your suitcase, you never slammed the door. You just stopped arriving like before. Some people leave emotionally long before they leave for you. You checked out early, long before goodbye. While I was still believing we still had time to try. You checked out early, and I didn't understand why I kept losing pieces I couldn't hold in my hands. You were already somewhere else while I was holding on. You checked out early before we were gone. I remember planning futures you barely listened to, answering with quiet nods instead of something true. I noticed how your eyes stopped meeting mine for long, how every promise sounded like the memory of a song. I asked if everything was okay. You said, I'm just tired. So I believed the easier answer instead of what transpired, because trusting someone you love can make the truth feel late, even when your heart already knows its way. The hardest goodbyes begin while two people still share a room. You checked out early, long before goodbye. While I was still believing we still had time to try. You checked out early, and I didn't understand why I kept losing pieces I couldn't hold in my hands. You were already somewhere else while I was holding on. You checked out early before we were gone. You noticed I was quieter. You noticed I smiled less. You watched me drift into myself without trying to guess. The little things I used to say stayed somewhere behind my eyes, and every silence carried words. You never asked me why. I kept hoping you'd stop me before I disappeared inside, thinking love will recognize the places people hide. But every passing evening felt longer than before, and every unanswered silence closed another door. Sometimes one simple question can save a breaking heart. You didn't ask why when I slowly pulled away, when my laughter turned to echoes and my colors turned to gray. You didn't ask why, you just watched me growing small. Maybe if you had, we could have saved it all. Now the silence has an answer that we never tried to find. You didn't ask why, and neither did our time. was hoping you'd come near, hoping you noticed the difference before it disappeared. Every quiet conversation was a chance to understand, but you let every moment pass without reaching for my hand. I kept leaving little signals like letters in the rain, believing someone who loved me would recognize the pain. But eventually I stopped leaving them when nothing ever changed, because even hope grows tired of calling out your name. The saddest questions are the ones never spoken. You didn't ask why when I slowly pulled away, when my laughter turned to echoes and my colors turned to gray. You didn't ask why, you just watched me growing small. Maybe if you had, we could have saved it all. Now the silence has an answer that we never tried to find. You didn't ask why, and neither did our time. You told me stories from your past, but never how they made you feel. You'd laugh about the hardest days, as if the hurt was never real. I'd search between the lines you spoke for something honest I could hold, but every truth you handed me was careful, measured, never whole. I learned the sound of your silence like it had its own refrain. Whenever feelings reached the surface, you would change the conversation again. I waited by the open door, thinking someday you'd walk through, never knowing all that time you were hiding from it too. Love needs more than presence, more than sharing space. It needs a heart that's willing to be seen without a mask to wear. You didn't open up fully, you only let me see the light, never all the hidden places you kept locked away. Each night I gave you every part of me without a wall or plan, but I could never hold the heart you never placed inside my hands. You didn't open up fully, I kept waiting for the day when you trust me with the pieces. You would always pull away. Now I know that love can't grow where fear still has control. You gave me your reflection, but never your whole soul. There were questions left unanswered, and not because you didn't know, but because the truth inside you was somewhere you wouldn't go. I never asked for perfect words or every secret you've concealed. I only wanted honesty, enough for something real to build. I watched your eyes grow distant when emotions filled the room, like opening your heart to someone was a had to hold the key. You didn't open up fully, you only let me see the light, never all the hidden places you kept locked away each night. I gave you every part of me without a war or plan, but I can never hold the heart you never placed inside my hands. You didn't open up fully, I kept waiting for the day when you trust me with the pieces you would always pull away. Now I know that love can't grow where fear still has control. You gave me your reflection, but never your whole soul. Maybe someone hurt you deeply long before I came around. Maybe you believe that love was safer never being found. I understand your reasons, but they couldn't carry us. Two hearts can't build forever if only one learns how to trust. No, I won't mistake potential for the life we could have had, because hope without connection only leaves your spirit sad. The next time love finds me, I'll meet a heart that's free, one that's brave enough to share its whole reality. You didn't open up fully, and I can't change what wasn't mine. I can't unlock the doors you closed, no matter how I try. Love deserves an open heart, not one that's standing still. It takes more than staying close, it takes the choice to feel. You didn't open up fully, but I finally understand. Some journeys have to start within before they reach another hand. I'll carry what I've learned without regret or blame, and someday I'll find someone who's never afraid to say my name. I still believe in honest hearts that don't hide behind the fear, the kind that choose vulnerability instead of disappearing near. So I'll leave with quiet gratitude for everything I knew, because loving someone completely can't happen until they do too. I watched the pieces slipping one by one between our hands. The little things that made us strong began to leave without a sound. The conversations grew shorter, the evenings lost their light. We stopped reaching for each other when something didn't feel right. I kept hoping you'd notice the distance growing thin, that you'd reach across the silence before it settled in. But every chance that found us quietly passed through. I was trying not to lose it, you weren't trying to. You didn't try to hold it when it started coming loose. You watched love lose its balance without making a move. You didn't try to hold it while I held on for two, thinking if I loved enough it would carry both of us through. But love can't stay together when only one heart tries. You just watched it pass by. I remember every moment that asked for something small. One honest conversation, one answer to my call. It never needed perfection, it never asked for more. Just someone willing to reach back instead of closing every door. I could feel the future changing in the silence we became. Every day another memory, forgot how to say our names. And I kept standing in the doorway, believing you'd come through, while the space between our shadows quietly grew. You didn't try to hold it when it started coming loose. You watched love lose its balance without making a move. You didn't try to hold it while I held on for two, thinking if I loved enough, it would carry both of us through. But love can stay together when only one heart tries. You didn't try to hold it, you just watched it pass by. The signs were never hidden, they lived inside my eyes. In the way I stopped laughing first, in the pauses of my replies. I wasn't trying to disappear, I was hoping you'd notice me, leaving little pieces of myself where anyone could see. Sometimes the hardest blindness is the one we choose ourselves. You didn't want to see what was changing in my heart, how the light behind my smile was quietly falling apart. You didn't want to see the distance growing near, because seeing it meant knowing what we both began to fear. So we kept pretending everything was exactly as it seemed. You didn't wanna see what was leaving in me. I remember speaking softer, hoping you'd lean in close. Instead you filled the silence with words that meant the most to everything except the truth. Standing in the room where we were slowly watching love lose another bloom. I stopped asking to be noticed, stopped trying to explain, because awareness means so little when someone looks away. And every day I waited for one moment of clarity, but comfort has a way of hiding reality. The truth stood between us, only one as it seemed. You didn't wanna see what was leaving in me. You knew exactly what to say whenever I was close to leaving. Just enough to calm the storm, just enough to keep believing. A late night call, a gentle smile, a promise hanging in the air. I'd mistake those little moments for proof that you were always there. You'd hold my hand when I pulled away, then disappear the following day. I'd spend the week chasing your silence while you drifted further away. Every time I questioned us, you'd give me one more reason why. I'd hold on to another maybe, while another part of me would die. I thought love was patient, I thought hearts could wait. I never knew the smallest hope could keep me trapped for years. You gave just enough to stop me from letting go, never enough to build a life, only enough to give me hope. I filled the spaces you left behind with dreams you never shared. Looking back, I finally know you gave just enough to keep me there. You gave just enough, a little light before the dark, a tiny flame inside the cold to keep alive my heart. I thought we were becoming us while you stayed somewhere else. You gave just enough to hold me close, but never gave yourself. Every anniversary came and went without the feeling I expected. I celebrated all our memories while yours stayed disconnected. I kept learning your favorite songs, your favorite places, favorite skies. You barely noticed when my world was fading right before your eyes. Love became a waiting room where I was always first in line, hoping you'd eventually arrive and call this broken future mine. But every step I took with you was balanced on uncertain ground. I kept listening for forever in a voice that barely made a sound. The truth was never hidden, it lived inside your touch. I simply called it love when it was never much. You gave just enough to stop me from letting go, never enough to build a life, only enough to give me hope. I filled the spaces you left behind with dreams you never shared. Looking back, I finally know you gave just enough to keep me there. gave just enough to hold me close, but never gave yourself. Maybe you never meant to hurt me. Maybe this was all you had, but half a love still leaves a heart wondering what it lacked. I don't need another answer. I don't need another sign. If someone only gives you pieces, they were never truly mine. Now I understand the difference between comfort and devotion. One keeps you standing still, the other moves the ocean. I won't wait beside a door that only opens halfway through. I've learned that almost being loved still isn't being loved by you. It's only halfway there. You gave just enough, but I deserve so much more. Someone who won't hesitate to meet me at the door. I'll stop chasing borrowed moments or hoping they'll be real. The love I always searched for will never make me beg to feel. Thank you for the lesson, though it took so long to see. Love should never feel like waiting for someone to choose me. From now on, I'll recognize the difference from the start. Just enough was never worthy of all my heart. You let me into your world, just enough to know your name. But every door behind your smile always stayed the same. You tell me pieces of your heart, then change the subject fast. I thought you needed time to heal. I didn't know it wouldn't last. I learned the rhythm of your days, the coffee that you'd always choose, the songs that made you quiet, the colors you refused. I knew the little things by heart, but something still felt out of place. There was a distance in your eyes I could never quite erase. I kept waiting for the moment you'd finally let me in, but every step I took toward you stopped just short again. You kept a part of you back, no matter how close we'd become. I gave you every honest piece, you always held on to one. There was a room inside your heart I was never meant to see. I loved you without hiding, but you never did with me. You kept a part of you back, hidden underneath your smile. I mistook your quiet distance for something worth the while. Now I know love isn't love if it's guarded from the start. You were standing here beside me with half a heart. Whenever life became too real, you'd slowly pull away again, leaving me to fill the silence, wondering where you'd been. You said you didn't know your yourself, so how could you let someone in? I believed I'd wait forever, thinking love would somehow win. I never asked for perfection, only honesty and time. But every answer that you gave stopped somewhere before the line. You'd hold me when the nights were long, then disappear with morning light. I spent years chasing closeness that stayed just out of sight. The hardest thing to notice is what someone never shows. You can't hold a heart completely if it never lets you close. You kept a part of you back, no matter how close we'd become. I gave you every honest piece, you always held on to one. There was a room inside your heart I was never meant to see. I loved you without hiding, but you never did with me. You kept a part of you back, hidden underneath your smile. I mistook your quiet distance for something worth the while. Now I know love isn't love if it's guarded from the start. You were standing here beside me with half a heart. I don't think you meant to hurt me. Maybe fear was all you knew. Maybe giving everything was something you couldn't do. But love can't grow completely when one soul stays behind, no matter how much patience lives inside the other's mind. So I'll stop knocking softly on doors that never open wide. I'll stop waiting for a version you've always kept inside. The missing piece I searched for was never mine to find. It was yours to give, but you left it behind. You kept a part of you back, and I carried all the weight, thinking if I loved you harder, you would finally stay. Now I know the strongest hearts should never have to beg for someone to be present with every word they said. You kept a part of you back, but I'll leave with all of mine. Every scar became a lesson, every tear became a sign. The next love that I find won't leave me wondering where to start, because real love doesn't hide the best parts of the heart. I don't need every answer to understand what's true. Some people love in pieces because that's all they knew. I'll remember what we were without falling that far back, and I'll never call it whole again when someone keeps a part of them back. It wasn't one forgotten moment or one mistake too hard to mend. It was all the little choices that slowly brought us to the end. The nights we stopped talking honestly, the mornings we rushed right by, the questions left unanswered, the reasons we never tried. I kept waiting for a turning point, a reason to believe again. But every chance we could have taken slipped quietly through our hands. I watched the distance settle in like dust upon the floor. until it felt familiar, like we'd been here before. Some endings aren't created, they're simply left alone. You let it happen without saying a word, without reaching for the silence that begged to be heard. You let it happen like fading was enough, like love could survive forever without the work of love. And every day we lost a little, until nothing felt the same. You let it happen, and I watched the change. I remember trying harder when everything grew cold, holding on to little pieces before they slipped from my hold. I searched inside your eyes for the person that I knew, but every look became a mirror, showing someone passing through. Maybe you were just exhausted, maybe I was too, but tired hearts still choose what they are willing to do. And somewhere between our silence and everything left unsaid, we stopped protecting what we built and watched it fade instead. Love doesn't disappear alone, someone has to stop reaching. You let it happen without saying a word, without reaching for the silence that begged to be heard. You let it happen like fading was enough, like love could survive forever without the work of love. And every day we lost a little, until nothing felt the same. You let it happen, and I watched the change. You smiled through every silence, like nothing had changed at all. We kept the same routines alive, while everything grew small. You laughed at all the right moments, you said that we were okay, but your eyes were somewhere else every single day. I wanted to believe you, because believing hurt less than admitting what was fading behind your careful tenderness. We became experts at pretending nothing needed to be said, while love kept losing pieces right above our heads. The truth doesn't disappear just because no one says it. You pretended it was fine while I watched it fall apart. You covered every crack with words, but never reached my heart. You pretended it was fine, like time would fix the pain, but silence only made us strangers again and again. And every quiet smile you wore made it harder to or just tired. So I folded up my questions and let them all retire. You showed up when the timing fit, never when the silence grew. I'd celebrate the smallest effort, like it proved your love was true. Weekend plans were never certain, every day could disappear. I learned to leave my calendar open, just in case you'd still be here. I stopped asking where you stood, afraid the answer wouldn't stay. So I settled for uncertainty and called it love anyway. You stood beside the life we had, but never stepped inside. I kept believing one more season would bring you to my side. Some hearts knock softly, some never cross the door. I kept waiting for your footsteps to become something more. You stayed half involved, one foot in, one foot gone, just enough to keep me waiting, never long enough to belong. You let me carry all the weight, while you carried almost none. I was living for tomorrow, you were living one day at a time. You stayed half involved, close enough to blur the truth, leaving pieces of affection scattered through the proof. I finally see the pattern hidden underneath it all. You never truly chose us, you only answered when I called. The conversations lost their color whenever feelings came around. You preferred the easy moments where nothing had to be found. When life became complicated, you quietly stepped aside, leaving me to solve the questions you refused to recognize. I learned to lower expectations before another chance was missed, convincing myself that patience was the answer to all this. But patience can't replace intention or create what's never there. A future can't be built together if only one prepares. I mistook inconsistency for someone needing time, but love should never leave your heart guessing every line. You stayed half involved, one foot in, one foot gone, just enough to keep me waiting, never long enough to belong. You let me carry all the weight, while you carried almost none. I was living for tomorrow, you were living one day at a time. You stayed half involved, close enough to blur the truth, leaving pieces of affection scattered through the proof. I finally see the pattern hidden underneath it all. You never truly chose us, you only answered when I called. Love isn't measured by how rarely someone leaves, it's measured by the certainty they bring when they believe. A heart that keeps one suitcase packed can never settle down, no matter how beautiful I deserve a steady hand, not one that's passing through. Someone who walks beside me instead of watching from the edge. The next chapter of my life won't begin with hesitation. It'll begin with someone certain about the destination. You stayed half involved, but I'm stepping fully out. No more searching for commitment inside unfinished doubts. I'll stop chasing borrowed moments, awaiting for your sign. My peace is worth much more than hoping you'll decide. You stayed half involved while I gave my every part. Now I'm taking back the pieces you left inside my heart. The love that's meant to find me will never leave me guessing why. It'll choose me without question every single time. Some people stand beside your life without ever stepping in. I know the difference now between presence and commitment. So I'll leave this story here without anger or regret, because halfway love was never the love I was meant to get. You were never fully there. I used to wait beside the phone, believing every silence had a reason. I kept your place beside my heart, even when the room turned cold each season. You smiled just enough to keep me close, but never enough to let me know. I built a home from little signs while you were already letting go. You heard my dreams but looked away, like they belonged to someone else. I carried both of us for miles without admitting to myself. Every promise felt so light, like smoke disappearing in the air. Looking back, the truth was quiet. You were never fully there. Now every memory changes shape. The pieces finally fit. Love wasn't fading overnight. It always sounded like this. You were never fully there, just a shadow passing through my days. I gave you every honest part. You only gave me borrowed ways. I called it love because I hoped you called it enough to stay. Now I see what I couldn't then. You were already far away. You were never fully mine, even when you held my hand. I was writing future plans. You were drawing lines in sand. Now the silence tells the truth clearer than your words could ever say. You were never fully there. I just wished you'd choose to stay. There were mornings filled with light, but somehow I still felt alone. Every laugh became a bridge leading nowhere I could call home. You listened with your distant eyes, like your heart had left the room. I watered every dying flower, still expecting one to bloom. Friends would ask if we were fine. I'd smile before I knew the lie. I'd inside that kept me turning blind. You were never fully there, just a shadow passing through my days. I gave you every honest part, you only gave me borrowed ways. I called it love because I hoped you called it enough to stay. Now I see what I couldn't then. You were already far away. You were never fully mine, even when you held my hand. I was writing future plans. You were drawing lines in sand. Now the silence tells the truth clearer than your words could ever say. You were never fully there. I just wished you'd choose to stay. Maybe I confused your kindness with a promise never made. Maybe I ignored the distance because I feared the empty space. You never asked for all I gave, but I never stopped giving. Now I know love can't survive if only one heart keeps believing. The hardest truth isn't goodbye or watching someone disappear. It's finding out the lonely feeling had always lived right here. From the very first hello, the ending had been written there. I was loving someone completely who was never fully there. You were never fully there. Now I finally understand. I was reaching for tomorrow while you slipped right through my hands. Every unanswered little prayer, every moment left unclear. Was it something that we lost? It had always been right here. You were never fully there, but I was every single day. I gave everything I had, even when you looked away. Now I'll save that kind of love for someone willing to be near. I won't chase another heart that disappears while standing here. You were never fully there. Now I leave without despair, because loving someone only doesn't mean they're ever there. I still believe in honest love, just not the kind I carried alone. One day someone will stay completely and make my heart feel like home. Until that morning finally comes, I won't mistake hope for care. The lesson lives inside these words. You were never